So good morning students. So today we will begin a new lesson, geographical features and prehistoric India. So before going to the lesson, so I want to make you clear. So in your textbook, geographical features and prehistoric India, the heading of the lesson is there. But due to the COVID-19, the geographical features, it has been removed from this year's syllabus. So, but going to the prehistoric India, so we will have a small glance over the geographical features of India. So, you all are knowing, means you have been learnt in your previous class, you have been learnt regarding our country. So, India is having 28 states, 8 union territories, and Delhi is its capital. And regarding the geographical features, the Himalayan mountains, the Indo-Gangetic plain, the Deccan plateau, coastal plains, etc., etc., etc. So regarding the India is having the both land and the water frontiers, the land and the water borders we are having. So the India is having the water border of 6,100 kilometers and the land border of 15,200 kilometers of land border we are having. And in the southern part of the country we are having the coastal lines. So two coastal lines are there. Two coastal lines, the Konkan coast and the Coromandel coast we are having. So India is a land from the ancient. It has a long back history. It has a long back history. So many dynasties have been ruled over our country, like the important dynasties like Mauryas, Kushanas, Vardhanas, Palas, etc., 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 Vijayanagara, Hoysalas, Cholas, Pandyas, etc., etc., etc. Even afterwards, the Mughals were ruling our country. British have been ruled our country for many years, and afterwards we have been secured independence in 1947. So these are all things you are knowing. These are all things it is being known to you. But before that, in the earlier stage, how was the human vegetation? How the man was living on the earth? How the man was living? What was his condition? What was his condition? So these are the concepts today we are going to study in the prehistoric India. The prehistoric India. Today the concept we are going to study in the prehistoric India. So first, what do you mean by prehistoric period? The first concept, what do you mean by prehistoric period? The period before the discovery of art of writing is called the prehistoric age. The period before the discovery of art of writing is been called as the prehistoric age. So in that age, in the prehistoric age, man was not knowing, means he was not knowing to write and read. Even there was no script. There was no language. There was no language. But still, we are getting, means we are knowing something regarding the prehistoric period. Something regarding the prehistoric, how the man was living, how was his condition, how was his condition. So that we'll study here. So the scholars who study regarding the prehistoric age, so they are being called as the archaeologists. They are being called as the archaeologists. So while studying in the 6th standard, I think there is a concept, there is a lesson regarding the Harappan civilization and the ancient civilization. So there you have been studied how the civilization have been founded, how they have been discovered. In the same way, the archaeologists they have been discovered how in the prehistory man was been living in the prehistory. How the man was been living in the prehistory. The archaeologists have been discovered. So how will you come to know regarding the prehistory? So in the earlier state, so you have been studied regarding the somewhat the people have been saying, or your teachers have been said that in the earlier only the God was there, only one man and woman was there, and God has been punished them. So such the stories you have been heard, but there is no written evidence. There is no written evidence because there is no language itself, script itself. There are no writing itself in the earlier episode. So how the man was been living? So that is been founded by or discovered by archaeologists. So they have been studied. Man in the earlier stage, before the civilization, earlier stage, man was been he was just a food gatherer, he was just a hunter and a food gatherer. He was leading the life, he was leading a nomadic life with the hunting and food gathering. So he was not aware of the clothes. He was not aware of the clothes. He was not aware of any modern thing. Any modern thing. He was just wandering in the forest, whatever he could eat. Even they were not doing the basic things like cooking also. So even such stone implements were there. They were using stone implements and the bones of the animals as the instruments or the implements for the hunting purpose, to remove the bark of the tree, to dig the ground, to have some roots, etc. etc. So this was the life of the man in the prehistory. Means they were living in the, they were just living, no house itself, where they have got a little shelter they were living. So we will study earlier. Next, where they were a little shelter they were living. They used the stones for the hunting purpose or therefore livelihood purpose, bones of the animals, and the sharp bark of the trees, they used. So these were the things, these were the certain things they used in the prehistoric period. So next concept, where did the prehistoric man live? So next concept, where did the prehistoric man live? So just having the prehistoric period answer, he was not knowing nothing. So where did the prehistoric man live? So earlier I said the man who was just hunting and food gathering. He was just leading a nomadic hunting and food. So here in the prehistoric man, some evidence are there. Some evidence we have been got regarding the human being, where they are in Bhimankatta, in Hunsangi and in the Kurnool districts of India. So some lies. Lies means somewhat the man, how he was been living in those particular areas, somewhat the evidence we have been got, the archaeologists have been discovered that they were living near the rivers, lakes, ponds. So I think you are knowing why they have been living near the rivers, lakes and ponds, because water is the most essential. Water is the more essential for human beings. So they are living. And some stone implements. We can find some stone implements that they have been used in those areas. Stone implements were used for the many purposes. Some stone implements were being used, and they have been, they fulfilled their life. They fulfilled their daily needs. So here, although it has been said that man in the earlier stage, man in the prehistoric period, man lived in the caves, in the bark of the trees, in the big trees, in the inside of the trees, in the bark of the trees they lived. It has been said that somewhat on the trees they lived. It has been said that. But some industrial sites have been found. Industrial sites means where the man was been living in the prehistory, such sites. So means here the prehistoric man, they were living near the water, and especially the stone implements were where the stones were there, because they used stone for the many purpose to fulfill their daily needs, especially for the hunting purpose, to remove the roots from the mud, and for other purpose. So next we will go to the knowledge of fire. So here, signs of ashes have been obtained in the caves of Kurnool in the Andhra Pradesh. Kurnool is in Andhra Pradesh. So one of the caves in the Andhra Pradesh. Signs of fire have been found. They reveal the knowledge and the use of fire of the people of the Stone Age. Means those signs, those evidence, say that man was using fire for the many purposes. Means they were knowing regarding the fire. Probably fire was being used for the many purposes, for cooking, for the light, and for the frightening the animals, The fire has been used. So this is the knowledge of fire. Next, drawings found in caves. Drawings found in caves. So we get to see some drawings in many caves which people lived in the Stone Age. People lived in the Stone Age. Even today we can see these drawings in the walls of the caves and the rocks, and some cave drawings can be seen in the Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and in Karnataka. You can see some cave drawings in the Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka in some of the caves. They are the beautiful drawings of the wild animals and hunting. Wild animals and hunting. Beautiful drawings of the wild animals and hunting. We can see some important some caves. Drawings of the wild animals and hunting. Next, the changing environment. The changing environment. Next, we will come to the changing environment. Changing environment. So today, if you compare, tell them what I have said. How was in the prehistoric period man? But today, if you compare, there is a lot of difference. There is a lot of difference. So why? Due to the changing environment. Due to changing, it is believed that 12,000 years ago, a major change took place. A major change took place in the Earth's environment. The Earth temperature began gradually increasing. This led to the development of grasslands in many places. Birds and animals were being multiplied, especially the domesticated animals. They were being multiplied. So men started to observe the nature. Men started to observe nature. So till then, the man was just a hunter. He was just hunting and food gathering. But now he started to observe the nature. Observe the nature. Some domesticated animals were being multiplied. When the grassland increased, the domesticated animal multiplied. He observed the nature. He observed the animals, which he can know. He started to settle in one place. Historians of the archaeologists, they have been said, there is a changing of environment from past. For thousands of years ago, there will be a change in the environment. Ups and downs will be there in the environment. So this change has been brought. Meant to settle in one place. To cultivate the nature or to cultivate some food grains for their own consumption. He used the animals, especially the domestic animals, for his consumption. So slightly there will be changes. Wheat and barley were being cultivated. He started to settle in one place, cultivated the land, and just the human vegetation beginning. A settled life, or you can say that the civilization beginning. They are the best example. Civilizations are one of the best examples. Civilized life beginning. So here the archaeologists refer to the period discussed with the different names. With the archaeologists, what they have been discovered or what they have been found. They have been with the different names. Some old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, New Stone Age. So the archaeologists, what they have been discovered, they have been given the different names. Old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, New Stone Age. And Old Stone Age, further it has been classified into earlier Old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age and later Old Stone Age. Again it has been classified into later Old Stone Age. So here, the period from 12 years to around 10,000 years, 12,000 years to around 10,000 years is called as the Middle Stone Age. Before the earlier Stone Age. Before the Old Stone Age, the Middle Stone Age. And they used to fix some stones. Stones to the bones of the animals, and they used how the access will be there. How today the access will be there. So bones will be there, and they used to fix some stone where they can fix for the bones of the animal. So they use that as the implement or the weapon in those. So here the people were been using some stone implements. You can see in your textbook. Such implements are there. So picture is there, which how the old Stone Age, the man, old Stone Age people or the man used those. You can see there. And the new Stone Age and the new Stone Age. The new Stone Age began from 10,000 years. The stone tools of the period were different compared to the earlier Stone Age. So from one Stone Age to another Stone Age, totally they are also different. So what the implements they used in the old Stone Age, so there are changes in the middle Stone Age. Okay? Somewhat there was an improvement. Somewhat the man was civilized. Somewhat the man was civilized. So in the old Stone Age, he was not knowing aware regarding his own clothes itself. He was not knowing to cook the food itself. He was eating a raw meat, raw roots, whatever he could get from the nature. But in the certain slight changes, we have been seen in the middle Stone Age. Slight changes were seen in the middle Stone Age. Certain changes in the implement, in the way of living. He started to live in a one particular place. He took a shelter, caves as the shelter, bark of the tree as the shelter, etc. etc. Next, if you come to the new Stone Age, again certain changes were there. So grinded stones were there. So stones were being sharpened. So I think if you go to the village, so you can see some stones will be there. Some iron piece of the hook or the sharp nails, they would be sharp. They used for the sharpening. So like this, such the grinding stones. They use some such grinding stones for in the new Stone Age. From Stone Age to Stone Age, there was a lot of changes. From Stone Age to Stone Age, there was a lot of changes. But in this old Stone Age, the man was completely dependent on the nature itself. Dependent on the nature means he was just a hunter and the food gatherer. He was not knowing anything regarding it. Slowly with the changes, from one Stone Age to another Stone Age, there was a changes. There were changes. Even in the new Stone Age, the people, they started to use some pots made of mud, pots, pans, etc. made of mud. So the archaeologists have been discovered. Pots were used for the storing grains, and they were also used for the cooking rice, wheat and other grains. People of this had learned. The people of this new Stone Age, they have been learned weaving the clothes. So from one Stone Age to another. So you have been learned. You have been seen in some of the discovery channels. You can see that. Till today, some of the tribal groups, they are not knowing aware. They are not aware of this clothes. They are just depend upon the nature, forest, for their daily needs. Like such, the old Stone Age was there. So next, in the middle Stone Age, somewhat improvements in the middle Stone Age. Next, in the new Stone Age, better. Means day by day, year by year, day by day or year by year, better and better. So like this, the prehistoric man lived. So this is regarding the prehistoric ending. So go through the lesson. Already I have been earlier, starting in the beginning itself I have been said, the geographical features, it has been dropped for this year's syllabus. Only prehistoric India is there. Go through that as well. So somewhat questions I will be giving. So answer to you. So thank you.